This is a true survival story. On August 14, 2017, a young wildlife photographer named Daniel Reyes boarded a small Cessna 172 plane, planning to capture sunrise photos over the vast Amazon rainforest near Manaus, Brazil. He was just 27 years old, full of dreams, carrying only his camera, a small backpack, and the excitement of documenting wildlife from the skies. But that morning, as the sun rose over the endless green canopy, fate took a dark turn. The engine failed. Within moments, the plane went down, crashing deep into the unforgiving jungle, miles away from any sign of human life. Daniel survived the crash, but the real test had just begun. This is not just a story about a plane crash. This is a story about courage, fear, and the will to survive in the wildest jungle on Earth. This is the jungle plane crash. It was supposed to be a simple flight. Early one morning, Daniel, a young wildlife photographer, boarded a small two-seater plane flying over the edges of the Amazon rainforest, hoping to capture sunrise shots of the untouched green canopy. He had no idea that within hours, his life would change forever. Midway through the flight, as they crossed over the endless ocean of trees, the plane's engine began to sputter. The pilot, an older man named Luis, tried to steady the aircraft, but the controls wouldn't respond. Smoke filled the small cabin as the engine coughed its last breath. The trees below rushed up to meet them. "Hold on," Luis shouted. The plane crashed into the jungle with a deafening roar, metal crunching and glass shattering, before everything went dark. When Daniel woke up, the world was silent except for the distant calls of birds and the rustle of leaves. The pilot Luis did not survive. Daniel was alone, with a gash across his arm and bruises all over his body. The wreckage was scattered around him, pieces of metal twisted among the thick vines. He was in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, injured and alone, with no idea where to go. Day 1. First night using a torn piece of cloth from his shirt, Daniel wrapped his bleeding arm. He searched the wreckage for anything useful, a half-empty water bottle, a light, and his camera, miraculously intact. As night fell, the forest came alive with sound-strange calls, howls, and rustling that made him realize how truly alone he was. Rain began to pour, soaking him as he shivered under a large leaf for cover, trying to stay awake, fearing that if he fell asleep, he might never wake up again. Day 2. The hunger the next day. Hunger clawed at him. He had no food and only a few sips of water left. He remembered what he had read in survival books. Never eat unknown plants. Watch what animals eat. Find running water. He followed the sound of a distant stream, pushing through thick vines, mud, and swarms of insects that bit at every inch of exposed skin. Every step was painful, his injured arm throbbing, but he couldn't stop. When he found the stream, he cried out in relief. He drank deeply, ignoring the muddy taste. It was life. Day 4. The wildlife. On the 4th day, he saw them. Monkeys watched him from the trees. Parrots screamed above, and insects swarmed. He heard something moving in the bushes and froze as a jaguar stepped out, its golden eyes locking onto him. It was the moment he realized how fragile he was here. Slowly, he backed away, careful not to run. The jaguar watched but did not follow. It was as if the jungle was reminding him, "You are a guest here." Day 7. The storm. A tropical storm hit on the 7th day. Rain fell in heavy sheets, thunder rumbled, and the wind howled through the trees like spirits screaming in the dark. Daniel found shelter under a large fallen tree, curled up, clutching himself, hoping it would end. Lightning lit up the night, showing him the dark, endless jungle he was trapped in. Each clap of thunder shook him to his bones. Day 10. The choice. 10 days without rescue. 10 days without food except for a few berries and insects. 10 days of endless green, fear, and loneliness. He had a choice: wait for rescue that might never come, or try to find a way out. Daniel chose to walk. The journey, he used the sun to guide him, moving during the day, resting at night. He marked with a rock so he wouldn't walk in circles. He followed the stream, hoping it would lead to a river, and rivers led to people. He crossed mud pits, climbed over fallen trees, and waded through waist-deep water, always alert for snakes and other dangers. Mosquitoes bit him relentlessly, and the heat made him dizzy, but he kept going. Day 15. On the 15th day, weak, thin, and barely able to stand, Daniel stumbled out of the jungle onto a dirt road. A truck driver saw him and stopped, rushing to help as Daniel collapsed. Later, In a hospital, recovering from dehydration and infection, Daniel realized the jungle had changed him. It taught him the raw meaning of survival, the respect for nature, and the thin line between life and death. Daniel would always remember the deep green of the jungle, the sounds of rain on leaves, the eyes of the jaguar, and the endless fight to take one more step. The jungle tried to take him, but it also gave him a new life.